You've stared into the night sky before, maybe from a quiet backyard, or the window of a long train ride, or even lying in your bed, eyes tracing the invisible constellations above. And in those moments, you've felt it. The weight of everything you don't understand. The sheer vastness. The way the stars seem endless, like your mind can't possibly wrap itself around it. Maybe it left you feeling small. Maybe it left you feeling terrified. Or maybe it left you feeling curious, almost aching to know why it all exists. Why is the universe so big? Why does it stretch beyond comprehension, filling every corner of your imagination with mystery? Richard Feynman, a man who spent his life unraveling the fabric of reality, once admitted something quietly, something honest and raw. The universe is big, not because it needs to be, not because there is a reason that satisfies our human craving for logic, but simply because it is. And that answer, simple as it seems, can unsettle you. It forces you to confront something you might usually avoid, the reality that the world, and life itself, doesn't owe you meaning. It exists in its vastness, and you exist within it, trying to make sense. And here's the subtle, often overlooked truth about that feeling. When you look at the enormity of the universe, your mind isn't just marveling at stars. It's measuring your own place, your own significance. It's testing the fragility of your identity, probing the edges of your fears and insecurities. That overwhelming sense of smallness isn't just cosmic, it's psychological. When the universe feels too big, sometimes it's because your inner world feels too small, too constrained, too fragile to contain the weight of possibility, the weight of uncertainty. You might not even realize it, but this tension, the pull between vastness outside and limits inside, shapes how you relate to everything else. Relationships, careers, your daily choices. You see, when you feel small, it's easy to seek control, to manipulate, to cling, to construct invisible cages that make the world fit inside your comfort zone. And when others feel the same, that energy collides. You find yourself in cycles of passive aggression, of unspoken resentments, of quiet disconnection. The enormity of the universe, the reminder of life's immensity, can awaken the parts of you that feel powerless. And the truth is, most people don't know how to sit with that powerlessness. So, they project it. They control, they dominate, they criticize, they withdraw. And without realizing it, you do the same. But this is also where clarity begins. Feynman's honesty offers a kind of therapy. The universe doesn't need to make sense to you, and it doesn't define your worth. Your smallness in the cosmos isn't a reflection of your insignificance. It's a reflection of perspective. And perspective, when examined, can be liberating. You can sit with the immensity of the world without fear. You can allow yourself to feel awe, curiosity, and even comfort in the unknown. Because the universe, in its vastness, mirrors your capacity for growth, wonder, and transformation. Let's bring this closer to home for a moment. Think about a time you felt insignificant, not under the stars, but in your daily life, maybe at work, in a social circle, or within your family. That familiar pang, the quiet whisper of, "I'm not enough." That same feeling, when projected outward, is the same energy that makes you fixate on control or seek validation. It's subtle, manipulative, and almost invisible, yet it shapes your behavior in ways you might regret. You bend yourself to fit expectations, or you criticize others to elevate yourself. And the world, in all its immensity, can seem like it's conspiring against you, when really it's just operating without concern for you personally. That's not cruelty. It's simply reality. And here's the paradox. When you recognize that reality, when you admit that the universe doesn't center itself around your comfort, something shifts. That tension, the urge to control, to manipulate, to seek endless reassurance, begins to dissolve. You start to respond differently. You stop internalizing other people's projections. You stop feeding into cycles of blame and resentment. You begin to act from clarity, not fear. You start to trust yourself. Because the bigger the world feels, the more your inner strength is tested, and each time you meet that test consciously, you grow. Feynman's perspective isn't just about physics. It's about your psychology, your emotional life. The enormity of the universe invites you to confront your boundaries, your illusions, your habitual need for certainty. It forces you to sit with ambiguity, with the uncomfortable, with the infinite. And as terrifying as that can feel, it's also empowering. Every choice you make in the face of uncertainty, every time you resist the urge to manipulate, every time you embrace the unknown, strengthens your capacity to navigate life with integrity, compassion, and self-trust. So, when you feel small, when the cosmos stretches beyond comprehension, let that feeling be a teacher. Let it remind you that control is an illusion and that fear is not a mandate. You have the choice to engage with life openly, to respond instead of react, to observe instead of impose. And in doing so, you create a space in which you can exist authentically, without the weight of unacknowledged insecurities pressing down. That's a freedom no amount of knowledge or achievement can replace. If you pause now and look inward, you may notice patterns. The subtle ways you seek reassurance, the gentle manipulations that make relationships safer, the quiet ways you shrink yourself to avoid judgment. None of these make you bad. They make you human. And understanding that, the way Feynman understood the universe, is the first step toward true clarity. You're learning to distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot, between the outer immensity and your inner locus of strength. And here's the final, beautiful twist. The universe's size is not just a challenge, it's a gift, because if it were small, predictable, confined, you would be trapped in your illusions, in your fears, in your insecurities. Its vastness forces perspective. It forces humility. And in that humility, there is freedom. You can see the world clearly, you can see yourself clearly, and you can finally act from a place of honesty, empathy, and courage, knowing that your value is not dictated by scale, circumstance, or the whims of others. So, as you continue through your days, remember this. Feeling overwhelmed is not weakness. Feeling small is not failure. It's a mirror, showing you the edges of your assumptions, the limits of your control, and the endless possibilities for growth. When the universe feels too big, let it remind you that your mind, your heart, and your choices are vast in their own ways. Let it teach you to embrace curiosity over fear, clarity over confusion, and courage over comfort. And as you sit with that, as you let it sink in, know this. You are capable of holding space for yourself and others. You are capable of understanding complexity without being consumed by it. You are capable of awe, of reflection, and of profound emotional insight. And in that capacity lies a quiet power, the kind that doesn't need validation, the kind that doesn't manipulate, the kind that simply trusts, acts, and grows. If this reflection resonated with you, consider subscribing. Join a space where we explore not just the universe, but the psyche, the hidden patterns, the quiet truths, the ways your inner world shapes the outer. Share your thoughts, your reflections, your moments of awe, because even in a universe this vast, connection, understanding, and shared insight are what anchor us. And finally, when you look at the stars again tonight, let them remind you of something profound. The universe is big, yes, but your capacity for understanding, for empathy, for clarity, is equally infinite. You are not lost. You are part of something immense. And within that immensity, you have the freedom to exist fully, to act authentically, and to trust yourself completely.